Alright, I am not going to save you folks the indignity of putting this thing together, putting the drawbar on, or anything like that. But we are about ready to hit the paint shop. And we're going to talk about painting in this next episode of Psycho for Tyco.
From Tyco, of course.
Alright, so like I said in the intro, I am not going to get into the part of putting this thing together. It literally took me a day, and I'm talking a full 8-hour shift, in putting this critter back together and adding on some of the details. I still have a few details that won't show up until tomorrow, which is fine. One of which is the correct color decals, and we're going to talk about that in a sec. And the other thing was, I forgot the marker lights. So far, I posted a picture of this assembled, tested with the TCS WOW decoder, and I got lots of positive feedback. One of which, and I just want to mention out of jest, is train orders. I like train orders to a point. However, when we were talking about the last episode, and somebody hit it right on the head in the comments, is when I'm asking for feedback, I get everything but the correct answer. Oh no. No. Okay, that's an easy fix. I'll be fixing that right before I open up the paint shop. There's a little gap right here, which I just now noticed. Joy of joys. Alright, well, anyways, as you can see here in the background, somebody sent me this website, which has helped me a great deal on finding information of Virginia Truckee number 5, when all my photo feedback was literally limited. So these are most of the pictures of V&T number 5. This obviously, and we'll go to full screen here, this obviously was the first photo inspiration. And as you can see, between this number 5 and this number 5, I think I got it. I really think I got it. Which makes me happy. And then I found other pictures, such as this one, which is actually out of my Virginia Truckee book. And then there's this one, which I also found on this website, which helped me with the decals and the numbers. Now here's the thing. If you notice between this picture and this picture, during the time span of 1947 to 1950, a span of 3 years, number 5 obviously went through a lot of changes. And one of the things I didn't notice when I put this on is that the air pumps are a little bit higher. And mine are actually flush with this. However, I think we can get away with what we've got, because what we've got is what we've got. And I really don't feel like doing much more work on this. Now, when I looked at this picture, the first thing that came to mind was, were these white or were these yellow? And as you can see here, when it was Nevada Copperbelt number 5, you know, I can't tell. And that's the problem with certain light colors on black and white photos, such as here. I can't tell. This is also one of the photos that I worked with, and as you can see, you just can't tell. Is this white or is this yellow? Is this white or is this silver? Is this gray? Now, the paint scheme I'm going to be giving our little Tyco conversion is quite simply the 1947 to whenever they repainted it, which could have been 1950, 1948, 1949. So this is going to be the 1947 Nevada Copper Belt as purchased. Oh, have some Dr. Pepper here too. So the steps obviously look correct for the steps here. And as far as the color photo goes, she remained in all black with silver cylinders, a white stripe along the walkway and in the bottom, yellow numbers, a silver bell, it looks like. I can't tell if that's silver or copper. We're gonna go with the traditional copper bell. So I have to get some copper paint for that. So the colors I'm going to be using, I'm just going to be using some simple Testors colors. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this from some people. I know my best friend for one of them, because he does not like Testors paints whatsoever. I like them. They're kind of nice and fast. They dry easy. They kind of coat pretty well. The only thing is they gunk the hell out of my airbrush. Pardon my French. Colors I'm going to use is basic flat black for the locomotive, gunmetal for the wheels, red for the front number board plate, which I had to make, and white for the trim. Now, as an added bonus, I was able on eBay not too long ago, and I'm just going to throw this right here. I found this brass caboose, and this little brass caboose, I've got the bottom off screen, but this little brass caboose is dead nuts on, DNO, for a Tonopah and Tidewater caboose. And I got lucky a while back, and I was able to get a really good paint for that, and that's this. This is Star Brand Paints. This was the paint that I used on my Southern Pacific flat cars. For my, my steel slab cars. These are basically automotive type paint. So I found that this type of paint, after a little bit of research, is basically, like I said, an automotive paint. It's a fast drying. It dries from the, I think it dries opposite from what Testors paints do. Like, they don't dry from the inside out, they dry from the outside in, or vice versa. Since this is an automotive paint, this is good for brass, in my opinion, because brass is a metal. Automobiles are metal. So that means when I put it on, it's gonna stick. It's gonna stick on here, and it's going to not chip. And that's an important part. When I do my paints, I do my painting in blocks. So I grab everything that I need to paint, I paint it all up. So, like I said, with the locomotive, we're going to be using the gunmetal gray for the wheels. Maybe I better bring this back up a little bit. Getting back to our locomotive, like I said, we're going to use black for the body. We're going to use a gunmetal gray for the wheels, which I think will give a good contrast. Then we'll clean up the contacts and everything like that. And of course, we'll be using our good buddy MEK for that. So let's get the paint boost started up. Let's get the music going, and let's see how this looks before we decal it.
wheels hum songs of miners' thrill. The whistle blows with ghostly shrill. Old stories ride this train. Virginia and Truckee, we roll. Heart of the Comstock, soul of gold. Steel and smoke, it takes its toll, but it keeps the West alive. Smoke curls up to a painted sky. Ghost towns wave as we pass by. Dreams of fortune never die. They echo through the test of time. Dreams and grit, dust and sweat. The rails remember, they don't forget. Virginia and Truckee, we roll. Heart of the Comstock, soul of gold. Steel and smoke, it takes its toll, but it keeps the West alive. The past still whispers through these rails, over the miles and over the trail. Every run the Comstock's tells, the legend rides with pride. Virginia and Truckee, we roll. Heart of the Comstock, soul of gold. Steel and smoke, it takes its toll, but it keeps the West alive.
All right, and as you can see, we've got one side of it done, and I don't think it even looks anymore like a Tyco to me, but that's just my opinion. But I've got all the one side done here. I'm going to wait for this to dry, get the other side, get the clear coat on. Ironically, if I wasn't working this weekend, she would have made her debut at the home show. There are a couple of things that I need to dress up here, actually, so it's kind of a blessing in disguise. I just threw a drawbar together. It's too long, so I've got shorter ones on order, and then I've got to mount a coupler on the back, and mounting the coupler on the back is going to be a pain in the tuchus, so I had to order a special order coupler for that. And as you can see, my brass TNT caboose is coming along here. This one's going to have lit up marker lights, and then I got to put window glazing in there. And both of these will make their debut when the club opens, and our official running season should be Memorial Day weekend. I'm hoping. It might be earlier. We might have a Saturday or two because the weather's back warm again, which means it's false second spring or false third spring. At least that's what they say here in Nevada. But there you go. A couple of quick reflections on this project. This part was rather easy to do. The problem was getting a tender that would be compatible with this. But this actually goes to show that you can make a Chinese silk purse out of a sow's ear. Let's call it that, a Chinese silk purse. So, with that being said, if I'm going to be doing one more, you call it junk, I'm going to show you what I can do with it type project, but that's in the near future. I want to get back to the fire station. I want to get back to building the module. Now the weather's kind of decent. I might actually build a small switching layout in the back room so I'm not messing around with things on one piece of track here. But that's it, and I'd like to thank everybody for watching this. I hope you all learned something. I know somebody in my last episode said, yeah, I learned something. I learned I'm not going to DCC. But yeah, like I said, we'll get this one going, and we're going to get back to my building. Although I have one more V&T video coming up. It's going to be a special one, so stay tuned. But until then, I am Psycho for Tyco, as you can see from here. Hey friends, thanks for watching the video. I know you're at the end, but if you like this video, just remember, every 2 weeks I'm going to be bringing out a new video on budget model railroading, the history of Tyco trains, the history of other model railroad companies, and some how-to things that maybe you've never learned before, or you've known and you want to share with your friends but you never knew how. Well, here's the way. All you got to do on this video is like, share, subscribe, and if you want notifications, hit the little bell there, which I still don't know how to do, but we'll figure it out eventually. But until then, hey, we'll see you in the next video, and I am Psycho for Tyco.